Arriving in the Amazon on Christmas Day, one of our first activities was to do some piranha fishing. After all, the piranha fish is native to South America and it is a delicacy in various parts of the Amazon. The piranha we caught was to serve as part of our Christmas dinner. My first piranha fish. Next, by following local guides, we were to learn a little bit more about the jungle region we were staying, which was by the river Paraná de Mamori.
And this is the white pivot. As I showed you, this was for the liquid is for medicine, but the leaf.
Whoa!
This fruit we make jellies, ice creams, soaps, body creams, juice. I love it. In survival situations, if you find cacao,
You can survive.
you can stay without get starving for a good time. Why? You have to look for the rot ones. The mature ones is more tasty, but don't give you too much energy. You take this white flesh and keep eating, chewing it constantly till becomes kind of a jelly. Then you swallow it. That cover your stomach, so you can survive for a good time. Brazilian nut. Bota pros cachorros. Desce aqui pros cachorros.
不行不行，我就把它煮做蛋。
The main way people travel in the Amazon is by boat along the river, and that's exactly what we're doing now. And I have to say I find it a very peaceful and relaxing experience. You can see all sorts of different wildlife along the river. Although you probably won't hear it on this video, there's the sounds of all sorts of wild birds flying past. It's a very beautiful experience.
Different kinds of caimans. Caimans is the Amazon crocodile, or Amazon alligator. We don't have a crocodiles here. And between these three kinds, we have I'm gonna start from the smallest to the biggest one. The first one is the smooth nose caiman. In Portuguese, jacaré pedra, what means stone caiman. Jacaré is a tribal name, from the right pronunciation, ayacaré, what means attacked by the sides. And the smooth-nosed caiman can grow around 2 meters long. As other reptiles, it don't stop to grow, so it can be bigger than this one, bigger than 2 meters long.
People who have not been to the Amazon, what would you say is the biggest misconception that people have about the Amazon rainforest?
Yeah, we pass by a lot of this situation. It's like everybody have us a wild one, someone who who have the painted face or something like that. Even Brazilians from another states think that.
Like from Rio or from Sao
Yeah,
Paulo?
us from north. They are from north. They are tribals. They are wild. Over a jaguar, over something. The necklace is an anaconda, something like that. That's it's funny. It's funny.
Do you think there's a lot of misconception about things like deforestation and
Yeah,
there's a lot of media attention at the moment,
Yeah.
obviously, on trees getting logged and climate change, and the focus is really on the Amazon. Do you feel that it's exaggerated, or what's your perception of that?
I think it's very unnecessary. This is one thing what always happens. Some persons they burn a little piece, just a little piece. The last news what I saw came from I think it was USA. I don't remember as well the country. 20,000 fire points in the Amazon. That's enough to destroy it. That's enough for the apocalypse here. Even the tourist. If I was in one situation, I was in the extremely north, and I was with tourists, and all of the countries where they came from, they are sending messages. What? Are you okay? Are you in the fire? Fire? Where? Where? And everybody start to laugh by the persons who were believing that. But the media saying it have to be true. No, it's not true. I'm in the middle of the Amazon and I don't have a fire here. Don't believe that's not true. The media just say one thing but it's not true, and some person who's from that country
To sell news and to sensationalize and
yeah. Anyway, the humidity, even in the dry season, even in the summer, don't make it so easy to burn. A forest is much easier, but a jungle is more difficult because it's more wet. The fire don't go so far. And of course, some places we had a fire. That's not lie, but it's not as big as they say. What happens? And I work in the whole Amazon, not just in the state. I work in all the north, even in the Pantanal.
as a guide.
As a guide and a survival coach and things like that. Survival instructor. We have another countries in another continents what's burning much more than here too yet. For example, I think was in Australia. They had a big fire. China burning as a hell. Africa is burning much more and nobody see that. Honestly, I think something political in it.
Então essa árvore se chama samaúma. Ela é uma árvore que é preservada agora na região. Samaúma.
Formiga tapiba. Ela é repelente da selva para espantar os mosquitos. Ajuda a espantar os mosquitos. Aham. Olha só.
Olha aí.
De como eles vão decorar essa ideia?
Pode usar, se botar água, o nome mesmo se pode fogo.
Não dá para cortar, não?
É muito grande. Não grande, mas é fácil de cortar, mas não pode.
Que calor!
C'est trop bien.
Ele morre no fim.
Parabéns.
É rosewood.
É, rosewood. Como tem o óleo, serve para shampoo, protetor solar. Tem perfume como o perfume da Natura. Tem? É muito bom. Smell.
Vai comer? Tapuru
É lava de quê?
de coco. Coco babaçu. Ela come o que tem dentro, mas o sabor dela fica de coco. Você já provou? Já. Essa é grande.
Não, pura proteína.
Quer?
Never.
Ah, sim.
Não, eu não vou comer.
Nossa,
Isso, gente.
horrível.
Doce. Doce.
Eu digo que é gosto de coco. Gosto de coco.
Has a flavor. Pura proteína. Is like
Na selva, no exército, quem
medicine?
faz...
For pain, for the like headache, you can use the oil, boil it the piece, and you can use the oil to make a massage for the headache, also to help the flu. You can smell. It's a Vic vapor.
Come si chiama a planta?
A Vic. Smell first.
Oh,
It's a Vic.
This is like, it's like
Mental like a Vic vapor, you know,
Yeah,
from
it's
the
also
farmers.
what they put on your skin when you have a
Also
sore
here-
muscle as well.
exactly.
Vapor, no.
Fix vapor up.
Exactly,
no,
exactly,
something else.
yeah.
I think it's something else.
No,
When you have sore muscles and you rub it on, what's that called?
no, I don't know.
You rub it on your, it makes your skin hot.
Ah, like a oil,
Yeah.
oil like.
It smells like that.
No,
It's the
can
stuff
you
they
call it,
use when you have sore muscles.
Electrical oil.
You rub it on your
Yeah,
muscles.
electrical oil.
Yeah, it's that stuff.
It's
exactly the same. That's where the chemicals come from.
Electrical oil. You can buy in the farmers.
Yeah, you buy this stuff in the pharmacy in a tube.
Oil you call
You
it.
rub it on your muscles. Rub on your muscles. It's called like the brand is, what's it called? Heat rub. Deep heat. It's deep heat. The cream deep heat. Tem uma marca, se chama deep heat. Olha que besta azeite.
Leite de sova.
Leite de
And milk
soba.
of the tree you call sova in Portuguese.
Wow.
Delicious. Tastes just like milk. Like UHT milk. So I just found this very long, thin vine, and it forms a very strong, practical twine. In fact, I've never seen anything quite like this. You can see it extends all the way back into the forest. This is a very workable cord. It's another one of the marvelous things you might find in the forest. No idea what species it is, I'm afraid.
This is an acai tree.
Yeah, this is an acai tree.
Acai is a delicious berry-like fruit native to the Amazon, and it's considered a superfood because it is so rich in antioxidants. You'll find acai shops and vendors all over Brazil, and Kenny and I consume it in generous portions in Rio. We were curious though, how could we climb this tree to retrieve its acai fruit?
Also, the
You have to go,
roots,
Will.
the roots.
I'd like acai with granola, morango, doce de leche, por favor.
It's so slippery.
As our guide Gilbert would show us, forest vines similar to what Kenny had found earlier could be wrapped around the feet and used as part of a technique for climbing the tree.
Isso, gente.
Because when I bring all of these people you saw here working here, they are not cutting the trees, they are not killing the animals somewhere to sell in Manaus, you know. And about the deforestation, I'm very disappointed because last October, September, we had some rumor about the fire in the whole Amazon. Yes, we had fire, but in the south of Amazon, we didn't have any fire here in our region. And most of our guests, they gave up. They didn't come.
Yeah.
It was very bad for me because they canceled. I had to send money back for the people, and I had no clients, and we had very bad time here.
Which then I suppose negatively affected this area as well.
Yeah, because they told on TV that Amazonia was entire in fire. They didn't say the south of the Amazon.
Very helpful, thank you.
I wish to say thank for you to help us, because when you are here, you are part of those people that help us. You know, You make us stronger.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
I'm here now in an artisanal shopping centre in Manaus, which is authorised and recognised by the Amazonas state government. It's interesting to see some of the medicinal products that have come straight from the Amazon rainforest. Here we have a mosquito repellent which uses citronella oil, and that comes from the leaves and stems of lemongrass. Here's an interesting aftershave. It's made with propolis, mint and the chamomile herb. And this is marigold ointment. This is used for allergies and the treatment of skin blemishes. It's interesting just to see these products so clearly labelled, and it's a useful reminder really that many of the medicines that we have access to are actually just derived from the plants in the rainforest.
Levanta e tenta levantar devagar. Aí passa a outra mão. Isso, vai passando a mão. Vai passando a mão. Isso.
Bloody huge, isn't it?
Aí vai passando a mão. Vai só pulando.
Annelid, which is a segmented worm. It's some kind of an earthworm. Some parts of the world have giant earthworms, such as Australia and apparently the Amazon. I didn't know this, but this is a unusually large earthworm. So yeah, really incredible specimen. I would say that's probably about a 70 centimeters long. 60, 70 centimeters long. That's a big fella.
I'm now in the city of Presidente de Figueira, and I'm in front of one of many of the waterfalls in this area. In fact, the area itself is known as the City of Waterfalls, and it's a key tourist location because of the natural environment. People go bathing in the water here, and the waterfall I'm standing in front of at the moment is the Cachoeira de Iracema. So I'm just going to have a little paddle.
And we're here in the theatre of the Amazonas, which has to be one of the most beautiful theatres I've ever seen anywhere. And it's extraordinary that they built it. I would certainly put it on the travel list for anybody.
It was funded by the rubber barons, wasn't it?
Yeah, so at that time Brazil was largely based on coffee and rubber economies. They had gold, coffee and rubber, sort of economic miracles, and happening in different parts of the country. And up here it was the rubber. So that the amount of money they had, it was incredible. And they used it to create art, which is quite an inspiring thing to do with money, I think, considering the range of options.
I think it's a very inspiring thing that they did with that money, because if you think about those coffee barons, I don't think any of the coffee barons built a theatre, did they? And especially in this part of the world as well, with all the humidity and in the middle of the rainforest.
That's a good point. So you had you go to the gold in Minas Gerais. People made a lot of money with gold. So they build something. They build a few beautiful churches. And then you think about the coffee, sort of the Sao Paulo area, and also in Minas Gerais. And I haven't seen anything comparable to this. So someone had an extraordinary vision to create something here. I mean, a beautiful, aesthetically magnificent. It's a monument to human art.
And ingenuity. And as you said earlier, determination.
In the middle of the rainforest, at that time, it's difficult to get to Manaus. Now, you wouldn't drive to Manaus from Rio. Well, you could, but you'd be, a very adventurous person. And at that time, getting here would be even harder and really difficult to get here. And the coffee's really good.
It's an inspirational experience.
Absolutely.
Having spent a few days sightseeing in Manaus, we had itchy feet to go exploring the jungle again, and this meant we needed to be prepared. Drawing on Kenny's experiences of the great outdoors and my own recent observations, it was time to get kitted out. So I hope some of this information might be useful to you. So I'll do this one by one, starting with the bag. So this is, because I'm only going for a few days, it's a small 35-litre bag, but it's made with very resistant material, which should be great for the Amazon jungle. And it's also got lots of different pockets in it. It's very compartmentalised. The hammock is a really simple hammock that I picked up from Decathlon. Very comfortable to sleep on. It's not good by itself for mosquitoes. For that, you need this special type of mosquito net bag. Now this, you literally sleep inside and zip it up. I've also got what's called a fly sheet, which is basically a big plastic sheet with holes in the corners to hang up, and it provides shelter from the rain. And we have here a good pair of gloves, so like biking gloves, and these provide obviously protection from cuts and grazes and things like that. Camper's sun hat here with some string on from when I'm on the boats and there's heavy wind, won't blow away. Duct tape and rope for improvisation, repairs, especially the duct tape. There's lots of things here that could be punctured, so this should provide an easy way of repairing those things. A dry sack here. They come in all sorts of different sizes, but this 60-litre dry sack, so it's plenty of space to put all of these items in. And as there can be torrential rain in the Amazon jungle, this should keep everything waterproof. And I have here my rain jacket or poncho. Another essential item, but non-obvious item, and in fact probably even more useful than hiking boots, is Wellington boots. The terrain gets very damp and muddy, and you're walking through swamps and all sorts of things. So these are great for walking, but the fabric on them makes them very comfortable as well. And they're just very easy to slip on and provide good protection for your feet and ankles. I'm taking a couple of linen shirts. I personally really like linen shirts. They help your skin to breathe. And the long sleeved ones offer additional protection, obviously, from the insects and bugs. Yeah, just lightweight, easy to pack. These trousers I found are brilliant. They're super lightweight. They've got zips to double up as shorts, which can be useful. What I especially like about these trousers I've found is when they get wet, they dry really, really quickly. We have here a machete. This is something I've observed a lot in the tropics, guides and outdoorsy types of people carrying around machetes. I'm going to try and not kill myself with it, so I've got a special case for the machete for when I'm carrying it around. so that should be useful. And there's lots of vegetation to cut through. Standard first aid kit, bandages and antiseptic and whatnot. In terms of insect repellent, I've got your standard mosquito repellent, which has DEET and probably various other chemicals to repel insects. But I've also got a natural mosquito repellent made with citronella. Now, the reason I've got two is this one I'll be spraying a lot on my face because I have been bitten quite a bit on my face and my neck and so on. So this is something I'd be more comfortable using on my skin, and it's simply just better for the ecology. I've got an anti-cortisone, anti-allergy, anti-itch cream here for when you are bitten. I've found this to be really useful because apply it on your skin, just rub it into the bite, and within 10 minutes it really reduces itching and inflammation. So I would highly recommend taking some kind of anti-allergy, anti-itch cream and antihistamines as well if the itching gets really bad. Bought myself a headlamp. This should be especially useful for night time, and a backup lantern which just clips on the shirt. Got a cooking stove with alcohol here for cooking. A water bag, a water sack. Again, lightweight, easy to carry, much more practical for the jungle than carrying a big plastic bottle. Cutlery, knives and forks. Although you're mainly in shaded areas in the jungle because of the vegetation, when you're not in shaded areas, the sun can be really strong. So I've got a good pair of sunglasses. They were cheap, they're lightweight, and they've got UV protection. And my socks as well. They're cotton socks and they're also antibacterial. Very comfortable to wear. For catching food, earlier on today I came across an indigenous gentleman who sold me this blowpipe, I think it's called, with darts. So you just put the dart in here, and I suppose you could dip this in poison and kill all sorts of predators, but I'm not an expert on that yet. You put the dart in here and simply take a big deep breath and blow.
We've just got off a boat and we're entering into the middle of the Amazon forest jungle.
And this was where we would be sleeping, outside on a small jungle island in the municipality of Teatro, about 5 hours south of Manaus. Setting up camp in the middle of the Amazon jungle was definitely a memorable experience.
Just leave us here. We have to swim home.
Okay, I will help.
That would be the worst best prank in history. They just pretend to leave.
Here goes. I'm now in the hammock, about to go to sleep in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. Well, I survived my first night in the rain.
For the next part of our trip, we would travel to the municipality of Iranduba. We were lucky to be introduced to Henilda, a Baptist pastor who was very knowledgeable about the region and helped to facilitate various social projects.
Então, eu sou a pastora Renilda Santos, nós somos do Projeto Luz e Vida Missão Amazônia e a gente desenvolve um projeto social aqui na comunidade de São João do Tupé. E também tem a praia do Tupé, que é bem conhecida, vocês estão vendo aqui, não é? Então aqui é muito gostoso e é muito legal. É gostoso de trabalhar aqui justamente por conta da natureza. Porém, essa natureza esconde uma dificuldade muito grande com os jovens, crianças e adolescentes. Os jovens, adolescentes, as famílias estão à mercê dos oportunistas, os traficantes de droga, né? Então essas coisas. Por isso a gente tenta ajudar aqui, fazer um projeto social com a comunidade. Então vocês são bem-vindos a conhecer essa comunidade, a conhecer os Jovens da Floresta, que é um projeto que a gente tem com os Jovens da Floresta. Agência, né, de turismo, uma delas é a Johanna, vocês podem... Oi, Johanna, tudo bem?
Tudo, caminhava turismo.
Isso. E a gente faz essa parceria. E está fazendo uma parceria com você. Portanto, a gente convida você para participar conosco. Quem quiser doar um pouquinho do seu tempo aqui na Amazônia para a gente ajudar os jovens, crianças e adolescentes que precisam, então vem aqui que nós estamos aguardando, tá bom? Deus abençoe e sejam bem-vindos à comunidade São João do Tupé. É por aqui, vamos lá!
In this very beautiful house, which, you know, to us we'd say this looks like a indigenous building, but we've just had a really rich explanation that this is a hospital, or it was a place where people came to receive shamanic healing, and associated with it was a laboratory where a lot of new medicines to treat all kinds of things, including some cancers, was developed. The tribe is the Desana, and they are here in this area, and you recognize them by this beautiful I think these two tints, the red and the black, that design. So you know, it's interesting. We came here on we came to something like this as part of a one-day tour, and we met some Desana and they painted our faces. It was kind of a typical thing that you do as a tourist. But this is much more of the real thing now. We're getting under the surface and finding out the significance of this kind of building. No one told us what it was for. And yeah, you get to step inside it. It's really comfortable. So, you know, I think this is much more comfortable than any of the tourist lodges we stayed in. I think that having a really high ceiling and kind of keeping out the sun, and then leaving a space here for the breeze to come through. So these people know, you know, they know how to live here. I think they can teach us a thing or two about how to survive and live in the Amazon.
Também é planta medicinal e também de alimento, tá bom?
So you squeeze it, you get this red paint, and if I put this on my nose, it's going to stay there, right?
Yes. Aí passar no base.
It's amazing that the seed contains so much pigment, and I can't think why this would be the case biologically, but it's a very vivid color. Quite beautiful, actually. So this is the mystery behind all that red paint we've been seeing. Bonito. It's no peligroso?
Não.
Não? No tóxico?
Não tem,
nada assim?
nada, nada. É ótimo para alimento e para pele também.
Wow, okay. Look at that.
Tá? Se a gente pegar o breu dele, que ele solta um breu, é uma resina o nome, ele solta uma resina.
Como se chama ele?
Breu branco.
Breu branco.
Isso. Aí ele solta o breu, ele solta essa resina e dá pra gente fazer fogo. Então o fogo fica aí várias horas acesa e também serve para remédio, tá? Ele serve para dores de cabeça. Só de você sentir o cheiro, ele já te dá um alívio. O aroma te dá um certo alívio no estresse, né? E também serve para perfume, serve para fazer sabonete. E a Natura, ela usa muito isso, né? A Natura é uma empresa de cosmético, né? Então serve para fazer vários tipos de coisas de cosmético, tá bom? É cheiroso, parece comigo.
Sim.
After the interesting explanations about these medicinal plants such as Vibraio Branco used in sacred rituals, little did we know, but Renilda had a special ritual in mind for Kenny and I.
Batizo vocês para serem amazonenses. Tira o chapéu para batizar.
Ser amazonense.
Batizo vocês para ser amazonenses. Batizado. Olha, essa é a água dos meninos, ó. Água boa, gostosa. Daqui a pouco a gente vai pular aí no rio. A gente vai pegar um jacaré.
Newly and unexpectedly baptized, we were ready to continue on our journey.
É a árvore do mata-matá.
Mata-matá se
Isso
chama.
aqui é a envira do mata-matá. Aqui você...
Parece muito forte.
Isso. Aí você vou fazer aqui um cabozinho assim. Se você quiser fazer de 3 caboclos, faz corda para amarrar o barco, a canoa.
É muito bom.
É. Cachorro, gato.
So, a very rare thing which has been ubiquitous since we've come to the Tupi River Basin is this fruit tucuman. The thing about it which is amazing is it's a savory fruit. They like this, the people here like this in sandwiches, or, you know, this is a snack on its own. It tastes a bit like avocado. And the thing about savory food is you can eat lots of them. Fruits, if you eat something sweet, you eat a lot of it and it gets, you know, too much. But savory, I could just eat this all day. It's delicious. Once more.
Okay.
On our return trip to Manaus, I found myself reflecting on something that Jerry had said about education, that he believed it to be the key to solving so many of the problems in the Amazon region. I was curious to learn more about the school system. Renilda, who had visited many of the state schools in the region, was keen to talk about this topic. Então, a gente está muito interessado em saber sobre as escolas aqui na Amazônia. Você pode descrever pouco sobre as escolas que você visitou aqui na Amazônia?
Sim, eu tenho assim, uma experiência bem grande sobre as escolas. A maioria das escolas é ribeirinhas e todas as salas arrumadas e completas. A questão é onde essa criança mora, entendeu? A criança, às vezes, ela atravessa, ou como tem o período da cheia, melhor, às vezes, tem lugares que não é, porque no período da cheia inunda tudo, a escola, eles ficam inclusive 3 meses sem escola, por conta da grande cheia, né? Inundou tudo e fecha a escola, não tem como atender, e acaba que a professora vai dar aula em algum lugar, em alguma sala da casa de alguém. Por outro lado, vem a seca. Quando a seca é muito grande também, essa seca eles andam um trajeto muito grande a pé para chegar nas escolas. Então, o que mais prejudica? Precisa de uma atenção maior das instituições governamentais para que eles possam gerenciar uma condução tanto para o período da seca quanto para o período da cheia, para que essas crianças não fiquem sem escola. Mas a maioria das vezes, a maioria das crianças fica sem escola nesse período, porque quando a seca é grande, a criança não quer vir no sol andando 2, 3 horas a pé para chegar na escola. E quando está cheio, eles vêm de canoa, vêm de rabeta, de motorzinho. E às vezes, com uma boa gestão, eles colocam um barco escolar. Porém, a maioria dos barcos escolares, das lanchas escolares aqui na Amazônia, os barcos não estão arrumados, apropriados para atender as crianças, então estão parados lá.
E as crianças têm acesso a muitos livros?
Eles não têm acesso a muitos livros. Por isso, nós montamos a biblioteca ambulante, né? A biblioteca itinerante, na verdade. E leva nas comunidades, leva os livros e monta a biblioteca para pesquisa desses alunos.
E qual é o maior desafio, você acha, que essas escolas têm na floresta, por exemplo?
Aí não tem uma estrutura boa para que essa energia chegue com segurança nas comunidades e por isso a maior parte das vezes as comunidades estão sem energia e por isso não funciona bem a parte da tecnologia nessas comunidades. Então o maior desafio é que tenha luz com segurança, né? Luz que realmente seja permanente sem ter tantos caídas de energias e também que haja mais transporte para essas crianças e que haja escolas dignas com mais laboratórios de informática para as crianças das comunidades. Então, precisa mesmo dessa atenção educacional para a criança, o jovem, o adolescente das comunidades indígenas e ribeirinhas. Precisa dessa atenção melhor. O aluno ainda está sofrendo muito para ser um bom profissional, para chegar a concluir os estudos, né? Então, para chegar na faculdade é muito mais difícil ainda. Então, precisa desse apoio para conseguir formar um aluno nas comunidades indígenas e ribeirinhas. É isso.
Muito obrigado.
Obrigado também por nos ouvir.
Before leaving the Amazon, we were to make a final stop at the Museu da Amazônia, Musa, which sits on a 100-hectare forest reserve. I'm here now at the on top of the observation tower in the botanical gardens in Manaus, and these are actually the biggest urban gardens in the world. It's the biggest urban rainforest, and I'm just blown away by the amount of land in this urban rainforest. It's absolutely phenomenal. The diversity of plant species I've seen, the diversity of trees, and this observation tower is just incredible. Really, really love it. This is a plant called the sensitiva, or the sensitive, and it's fascinating because when you touch it, the leaves retract and then they open out again after a moment or so. I've never seen anything quite like it before. Sensitive plant. Representing more than half of the planet's rainforests, from the little we've seen of the Amazon, this is an incredibly biodiverse and rugged yet stunning part of the world. If there is a key to tackling the many challenges that this region faces, then undoubtedly the answer can be found in empowering the young people from the local communities through education.